if someone's going to be building out their sales ops and sales strategy function, what's a framework that they should be using as they're thinking about the different pieces involved, as well as, where to start and kind of the phases that they'll go through in order to build that out?
Yeah, that's a good one. So, first and foremost, as you start thinking about sales strategy and operations, the first question you got to answer is what is the financial plan, or what is the go-to-market plan? So I think where a lot of folks get it wrong is they have a broad market fit that makes sense. They have a market that they know has demand, but the amount of demand is completely up to what the CEO is telling you it exists. So one of the key functions that sales strategy and operations play is the ability to quantify that demand and really put a plan together where you can really make the rubber meet the road. In taking at an early stage, you're not going to have a ton of metrics that you can really pressure test, but good sales ops folks will take the data that you do have, identify the lead volume that you've been getting across the different channels, and put a kind of a strategic plan together, a go-to-market plan that quantifies that demand, and will kind of extrapolate by channel what your conversion rates are going to look like, should look like, what is good industry benchmarks for those conversion rates, and then taking your sales capacity, so the AEs and sales development reps that you're going to hire, based on the amount of revenue that they're going to bring in, which is a function of the amount of leads times the conversion rate times your average selling price, to get to a month over month extrapolation of what your business can actually do, versus just putting kind of finger to the wind on I think we could turn this into a $100 million business overnight.
Right. Okay, so that's the first step. And what are you doing after that?
So, I would say the core pillars to a sales operations team is going to be sales systems and kind of the core sales tools that the sales team is going to need.
Yep.
You're going to want a function for that. And this could be, these functions can be carried by, one or more people. I think over time, you're going to start to specialize these functions. But right off the bat, you're probably going to have one to three people wearing a lot of hats. Sales tools and sales systems is going to be a pretty core functionality that you're going to want to knock out right up front. Second is going to be the kind of strategic planning and analysis function, mm-hmm. where you're going to want somebody that can think strategically about where the business is going to go, where the business is going. A solid kind of partner with the sales lead to understand what's possible and really the demand that's out there. And then reporting analytics, that's a really core function that you're going to want to keep in place. So somebody that can set the metrics based on that go-to-market plan, mm-hmm. set the metrics and provide the visibility to the leadership team and on an operational basis to the sales team, so that they have a true north. I can't tell you the amount of businesses that I've seen that can't even tell you how much revenue they're generating every month.
I believe it.
And that's an enormous problem. And there's so many level setting activities that I've seen where, I went through this at Benefits a few times where, we didn't set the right, measurement capabilities in our system to be able to accurately represent how much revenue was coming in, because Benefits was mostly funded by insurance commissions, and insurance commissions are you don't fully realize them until month 2 or month 3 after you sold the deal. So when you have a situation where the company's in crazy hypergrowth, if you can't fully realize the revenues until month 3, you're you could be in a ton of trouble. So having measurements in place and having that true north is absolutely critical, and putting as much emphasis on that as well.
Nice. Love it. So let's go through each one of those things for a second. So you said systems and tools. If I'm going through systems and tools and building out a SaaS sales function, what